Hello everyone, my name is Bhante Wade and I'm here at Empty Cloud Monastery, where it is Wednesday morning, and normally at this time we have a live stream from Aya Pramawara. And so for any of you who are expecting her, I want to extend my sincerest apologies. We have me instead today. So of course today's live stream will be a little bit different style, but hopefully you'll have a good Dhamma experience as usual. When Aya leads us, I'm sure you have a wonderful experience, and hopefully you'll also have a good experience today. Seeing Manal typing in and sending her Anjali, as well as Greg from Chicago. And sorry I didn't get a chance to say goodbye to you, Greg, when you left. I didn't realize you were leaving early morning, and so now is my opportunity to thank you for your service at the Katina. You were very helpful on Sunday, helping set up for the Katina, and also a very nice presence to have at the monastery. I hope you had a good experience, and very nice seeing you, Manal, recently in the monastery as well. And I hope you're doing well. And let's see. So why don't we talk a little bit about what happened recently. We had the Katina on Sunday here at Empty Cloud Monastery. It's something like the 5th or the 6th Katina, I believe, that we've had here at Empty Cloud. And I have to apologize, I don't know the exact number, but it's become a yearly tradition, an annual tradition, much loved by the community. And there must have been probably about 200 people present, 200 lay people, as well as 4 monastics. Bhante Sudaso and myself, and Aya Soma and Aya Wadha, the recently ordained Aya Wadha. The Katina is an opportunity for the laity to make offerings to the Sangha. It's basically a special offering ceremony. Originally, it shows up in the code of conduct for monastics. There's a story about a group of monks who had struggled while traveling to reach the Buddha before the monsoons set in. And they didn't reach him, so they ended up spending the monsoon season under trees. And when they did reach him, their robes were tattered, and they'd had quite a difficult time of it during the monsoons, trying to live outdoors, and their robes were tattered and torn. And so the Buddha, having compassion for them, he set in place this ceremony called the Katina ceremony, or the Katina offering, making an allowance for this to be had each year if the laity offered spontaneously of their own initiative to make offerings of robes in the month after the end of the monsoon season. Then the monks could receive them, and because it was laid down as a special allowance by the Buddha, it's come down to us all the way to the present day, and it's been practiced probably every single year in monasteries all throughout the areas of Theravadan Buddhism. And it's considered to be one of the most popular, actually, ceremonies of the entire year. And so it's a time, at least in Thailand, where I was ordained, when more lay people than ever come into the monastery. Perhaps Wesak Puja, the big holiday in May, celebrating the Buddha's birth, enlightenment, and passing into Nibbana, rivals the Katina ceremony. But maybe not. The Katina ceremony may be the biggest ceremony of the year in the monasteries in terms of attendance. And so here at Empty Cloud Monastery, many lay people came in, as I said, to make offerings of many different kinds, including robes, to the monastic community. And so this is very helpful in supporting the monastery and the monastics. It's also an opportunity for the lay people to make merit, the merit of generosity, which is necessary for us to have, for the giver to have material requisites they'll need in the future. It's said in Thailand that if you have food to eat, it's because you've made acts of generosity in the past. And so acts of material generosity are necessary for our material support in the future. And And speaking of food, of course, there was a large food offering before the offering of other requisites, and the official ceremony began. So many people gathered in the morning and offered table after table. It must have been probably 5 tables, probably maybe 6, actually 6 tables of food. So a tremendous food offering to the monastic community that all were able to partake in after the monastics took their food. And so it was quite an enjoyable day, I think, for everyone. And probably some pictures will be put up on the website soon. I'd seen some pictures circulating that showed smiles all around, and people rejoicing in this opportunity to make merit. All right, perhaps that's enough about the Katina ceremony. But I could close talking about the Katina ceremony by saying Anumotana to everyone who participated, meaning I rejoice in your good deeds. But perhaps I should add one more bit about it, which is that the story of the sponsor. The sponsor of this year's Katina ceremonies, usually the Katinas have one main sponsor. Although everyone is invited to come and make offerings, they're welcome to make offerings if they like. Once someone has decided that they want to offer a Katina, as I said, it has to be spontaneously offered by a layperson on their own initiative. Someone takes the initiative to say they'd like to offer a Katina, and they're the main sponsor. And then other people are invited to also join in if they like. And so the main sponsor this year is a laywoman named Nok of Thai heritage, and she was inspired to offer Katina. And so earlier in the year, thinking that she wanted to offer a Katina somewhere, she went out and she got a job. She didn't have a job at the time. She went out and got a job, and with the blessing of her husband and her 2 children, and so she got a job in a charitable organization, thinking that then she'd be doing a good service for society through her work. And she saved up the money and asked her husband joined in as well, contributed some money as well. And so she and her family thought about where they wanted to offer Katina, and they'd heard about Empty Cloud Monastery, to kind of abbreviate the story a little bit, heard about Empty Cloud Monastery, had contact with the bhikkhuni who was staying here in the past when she went to make offerings at some other monastics. One of the bhikkhunis from Empty Cloud Monastery was there. And she learned about Empty Cloud this way, and was so happy to hear that there was a place for bhikkhunis here in America, and the bhikkhunis could ordain in the present day. And so, thinking back to this, she decided that she wanted to offer the Katina at Empty Cloud Monastery. And so, even though she lived in Michigan, she and her family lived in Michigan, and so they drove all the way here with a U-Haul truck, I was told, with so many offerings in it, offerings of many different kinds, including some Buddha images and some books for the library, some translations from the Pali Suttas for the library, and many other kinds of requisites, robe cloth and clothing supplies, I believe, and many other kinds of things. And drove all the way here from Michigan and spent probably about 4 or 5 days in the area, and came into the monastery to make food offerings also before the Katina ceremony. But this all came from this inspiration that Nok had to offer Katina, and the hard work she put in, going out to get a job specifically for this purpose, and saving up the money to do it, and her wonderful family who supported her in this effort and came with her, and dressed in traditional Thai garb, her and her 2 children, and so Anumotana to them as well. I think all of us found it a very inspiring story, and Anumotana everyone who came and participated. To Anumotana means to rejoice in the goodness of one's good deeds, in other people's good deeds, I should say. And when we Anumotana someone else's good deeds, then that is a good karma for us as well. And so we can all join in rejoicing in this goodness. And perhaps a side note is it was actually Ayawata's birthday. This is Sunday the 27th was Ayawata's birthday, and his 8th day as a bhikkhu. And so it was a very heartwarming time that all these things coincided, the recent ordination and Ayawata's birthday and the Katina ceremony. Wonderful way these last couple of weeks to bring the annual Wasa or Rain's residence to a close. And Bhante Sudaso and Ayasoma have just left yesterday to go back to Italy to do some more work with regard to the monastery there, Lena Pawana Monastery. They'll be returning on the 15th of November, if I recall correctly. I believe it's the 15th of November, to be here again at Empty Cloud Monastery. And so currently in residence we have me, Bhante Wade, and we also have Ayawata, as well as a long-term resident who's interested in ordination and some other overnight lay guests. And expecting a Machi, that is an 8-precept nun, to come arriving today, to be here for a short stay as well, here at Empty Cloud. All right, so why don't we move next segue into a little bit of meditation after this uplifting review of the wonderful things that have been happening recently. And then probably do some Dhamma reflection or Dhamma talk after a guided meditation. And so I'll invite everyone to go ahead and assume a meditation posture that's appropriate for you, whether sitting on the floor or sitting in a chair, or perhaps standing. You can do it standing or lying down if that's better for you. And if we're sitting or standing, we'd like to adopt an upright posture. And so if you're in one of these positions, I'll ask you to close your eyes, also if you're lying on the floor, if closing the eyes is comfortable for you, and if it won't lead you into too much drowsiness. And then if you're in one of the upright postures, the sitting or the standing, then imagine that you have a cord attached to the top of your head and that it stretches up to the ceiling or up into the sky, gently drawing you into an upright position. And so you may feel your head lift a little bit. And let your neck straighten. And if you're in a lying posture, you can straighten out your posture as well, even if it isn't upright. Kind of straighten a bit and get acquainted with how your body feels. And then allow your upper back to straighten, and the middle back. And if you're sitting, then allow your pelvis to tilt forward so that your lower back curves forward there in the lumbar area. Describing possible standing postures is more complicated as there are differing opinions about how to do it. I think I might suggest actually keeping the pelvis tucked forward so that the lower back is straight. This is a more traditional kind of Qigong or Tai Chi standing posture, and allowing the shoulders to slope forward and relax. And then we can notice the abdomen. And we're going to go into a a guided meditation on breathing, and so we'll start out simply by becoming aware of the abdomen and allowing it to relax a little bit. And so what we'll do is we'll get in touch with how the abdomen feels and just become aware of that. Just experience how the abdomen feels. If it's helpful, you can place your hand on your stomach, on your abdomen, in order to help make contact there. And experience how the abdomen feels. And allow it to relax. If the mind wanders, we just notice this and remind ourselves that we're doing something special right now in this guided meditation, and so we can let go of other things. We're not interested in those things right now. And then come back to experiencing the sensations in the abdomen. Just letting go of everything else. And allow the abdomen to relax. There used to be a saying amongst workout enthusiasts that you want to have abs of steel. But right now, as meditators, seeking to grow in wisdom and in letting go, we want to just experience how the abdomen feels and allow any tension just to ease out. Just let it relax. Until we have abs of jelly. And then maybe even notice right down to the pit of the stomach. And sense how it feels down there. And allow it to relax too. We'll linger here for just another couple of moments, patiently paying attention to the sensations there, perhaps with some compassion, and allowing them to relax. All right. Then I'd like us to segue into paying attention to the breath there and doing a little breathing exercise. And so what we want to do is notice the expansion and contraction of the abdomen, its rise and fall with the breath. Just see if you can notice it. Be aware of it. And you may notice that your breathing starts to change when you pay attention to it, and that's okay. We just let it go ahead and do what it's going to do. You may feel like taking some deeper breaths, for example, and you can do that. And be aware of the breath, the rise and fall in the body, especially at the abdomen. And allow the breath to settle as it likes. All right. And now for the breathing exercise, we'd like to practice some abdominal breathing, which means that, or at least to me means that when the breath comes in, we want to allow it to go all the way down to the abdomen. And when it gets down to the abdomen, allow the abdomen to expand, receiving this breath. And then, when it's time to breathe out, we allow the abdomen to contract. Just contract it gently, allowing the breath to go up, all the way through the chest and out. And then the next breath come down and come into the abdomen and expand, and then contract the abdomen again, so the air rises and goes up through the chest and out. And you can pay attention to the breath all the way from the beginning, going down through the body into the abdomen and allowing the abdomen to expand. And then as the abdomen contracts, being aware of the breath rising, then going out again. And so we notice the breath, we're aware of the breath all the way through the cycle, even noticing the pauses between the in and out breaths as well. And if it helps to get used to the expansion of the abdomen as we breathe in, and the contraction as we breathe out, we can even take deeper breaths if we like. And so we pay attention to this process to make it feel comfortable. nourishing the body and helping the body to relax, and allowing the mind to grow calm, settling on the breath and harmonizing with the breath. And you may even allow the lungs to fill all the way up to capacity a few times. Then breathe out fully. A few times, getting all of the CO2 out, all of the carbon dioxide, and getting a good amount of oxygen into your system. All right. Then allow the breath to settle into a natural rhythm when it feels appropriate and as it likes. Allowing it to go all the way down into the body, into the abdomen, and the abdomen to expand with the breath, and then contract as the breath rises and goes out. All right. And then I would like us to rise up into the chest and pay attention to the breath in the middle of the chest as a focal point. Noticing it rising and descending through the middle of the chest. Notice if this moving around is disturbing in any way mentally. And just notice that as an observer and then let it go. Just say, well, that's all right. We're still being mindful. And then bring the mind back to the breath as it rises and descends in the chest, or if it's easier or more comfortable, the rise and fall of the chest itself with the breath. And then right there in the middle of the chest, where the breath is, I would also like to ask you to imagine your spiritual heart. Imagine there, with your sense of feeling, your spiritual heart, right there in the middle of the chest. And gently allow it to collect there and to relax into that space. And experience how it feels there, in the middle of the chest. And see if you can be with any sensations or emotions or feelings there, patiently just as an observer. And allow them to relax. In their own time. Now, here we have a choice in our meditation, in this art of practice that we have. If it seems right to stay there with the heart, experiencing it, then we can do that. Or if everything seems all right there, or if we're more comfortable doing so, we can segue into a more focused meditation on the breath. Still right there at the chest. And those of us meditating on the breath will come back to experiencing it more fully there in the chest, right there at the heart. noticing it as it passes through the chest, or noticing the rise and fall of the chest itself. Letting it be as it will. Simply being aware of it, experiencing it, and allowing it to settle, perhaps into a natural rhythm as it likes. And sometimes we might count with the breath, or sometimes we might note its rise and fall. On this occasion, let's practice with a recollection of peace, in harmony with the breath, so that as the breath comes in, we think, may I, and then as the breath goes out, we think, be calm. May I be calm. If it feels good to do so, on the in-breath thinking, may I, and on the out-breath, be calm. May I be calm. Letting go of any tension or suffering in the body or in the heart, there at the chest. Any tension, and then when it feels right, you can let go of that wish, may I be calm. Or you may consider using it in harmony with the breath or on its own. And try to experience right there at the chest, as you are meditating in your style, as chosen now. Try to experience what is happening. And then drop into the heart a question. Or you might say, ask your heart a question. Drop into the heart a question, and that is, what is this? Meaning the heart. What is this? Or if you like, you might try another question, dropping it into the heart and asking the heart this quite simply. Who am I? Who am I? And just be aware of the experience. And then when the time is right, come back to the experience of the breath there at the chest. Experience the breath as it rises and descends through the chest. Or the rise and fall of the chest itself. If the mind wanders, gently bring it back to the experience of the breath. And if it helps to stay with it, you might notice with a thinking mind and say, breathing in when we're breathing in, and breathing out when we're breathing out. All right. And then I'm going to slowly draw the meditation to a close. First, by ringing a bell. I'll ring it 3 times, and so I would like you to be aware of the sound as it begins. And then as it changes over time and as it fades away. Trying to be keenly aware so you notice it throughout all of these phases. And then we can raise our hands and join them palm to palm in front of our hearts out of gratitude and respect for the meditation, feeling the contact of the palms to each other and experiencing these emotions in the heart. And then we can slowly lower the hands again, very mindfully. And then we can mindfully adjust our posture if we'd like, change our position a little bit, become aware of any interest or intention to move, and be aware of this, and then be aware of each movement as we adjust our posture slowly and mindfully. And then in the short time we have remaining, I'll give a short Dhamma reflection. And so I invite you to remain centered there with your mindfulness, perhaps at the chest area or in the area of the heart or with the breath itself. As I give this reflection and allow it, if it will, to enter your heart. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddhang dhammang sanghang namasami. We sit here at the midway point, the midpoint of the Buddhist religion, they say. Having received the Buddhist teachings passed down for 2,500 years, at its heart, the heart of the teachings, the simple practices of worship and generosity, morality and meditation. This might be cast as a unified path with 4 aspects. Perhaps like 4 planks laid side by side for us to tread on. Worship and generosity, morality and meditation. Generosity being necessary for our material support, and a training in letting go. Of still greater merit is the practice of worship. As it says in the Dhammapada, whatever gifts and offerings one might give over the course of an entire year, the merit would not match the merit of worshipping one who was consummate. Thereby aligning the heart with that which is truly holy and worthwhile in life, remembering it as our North Star and guide, and our priority in life. Morality, the floor between us and the lower realms. A foundational strength for the heart. An integrity and an honesty. Goodwill towards all living beings, requiring us to let go of our greed and hatred, and to reorient ourselves towards skillful mental qualities. And then the practice of meditation. In its broadest sense, the development of skillful mental states, in the putting away of unskillful mental states, going directly into the heart, and working there, where mental states arise. where they change and where they pass away. The heart, this consciousness, this mind, are constant companions since time immemorial. Our partner in the long wandering on, this cycle of rebirths. In the process of meditation, we make the mind calm, where the heart lives in the cycle of samsara. Calming the bodily formation, we come closer to the heart itself. Through this very process of letting go in the body, allowing it to relax and become calm, we come closer also to the heart itself. It's a process of knowing and letting go. The letting go is accomplished partly through knowing. Knowing and experiencing as it really is in the present moment. The heart sees the value in letting go and the relief there, until we gently direct it back to itself. And know, experience what is there. And what is this? This heart. What is this experience in the heart? We drop this question there into the heart. Or put another way, we gently ask the heart. And then mindfully experience with awareness what occurs. Or we might ask the heart, just dropping the question into the heart once it's calm. Who am I? With genuine sincerity. And with our mindfulness, then, experience what happens. All of these are possibilities for our meditation. We had many choices in this guided meditation today. We can come back to this guided meditation in the future. Perhaps bookmark it or put in your favorites. Then come back to it and see what's right for you at different decision points in the meditation. You can do it many times. The practice of calming meditation is in itself very meritorious. But also it feels so good, and it helps us to become more centered and more aware. This is so beneficial for our physical body, for our emotional health, and for our growth and intelligence. And then wisdom contemplations we might find in this meditation or in other guided meditations we've done help us to grow in wisdom, develop our wisdom parami, or the spiritual virtue. We find over time that these wisdom contemplations have different meaning, and we have a different experience of them as the heart, being calm, is affected more deeply by them. And over time, we develop in these spiritual virtues, and we might eventually find ourselves motivated to sit for longer periods of time and more periods consecutively, in which case we can deepen the practice of calming meditation and developing mindfulness and progress into the development of actual insight proper and the learning stages of insight knowledges. But for now, we do these one at a time as part of our full spiritual path. With prominent elements being worship and generosity, morality and meditation, seeing what works for us and what helps us to reduce our defilements and to grow in skillfulness. Benefiting from these ancient teachings that the Buddha has given us, this great gift that he gave us, and the masters and the fourfold Sangha of monastics and laity have passed on to us and kept alive. Now for 100 generations, coming right down to you and me. So I invite you to take this up as you go forward into your day or continue on your day, wherever you are. And rejoice in the practices that you have in your practice here today. We can put our hands together again in front of our hearts and rejoice together, 3 times saying sadhu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And may you all in the live stream community that's come together continue to prosper in the Dhamma. There'll be more live streams, of course, each of these 3 days, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, then the live Dhamma programs, Saturday evening and Sunday, resuming the regular schedule. Until next time, may you all be well. Goodbye.